you have to understand this. Without inner movement, it is impossible to bring forth anything. Now, I would like to ask you a very important question. Do your current circumstances not allow you to believe in your manifestation? If so, first of all, I can tell you you're not alone, because this is something I observed lately a lot of people experience in their conscious manifestation journey, is that their current circumstances, because of their current circumstances, they don't believe at all in their manifestation. They feel stuck. They lost themselves in their current circumstances. They perceive them as final. They, take their cue from their current circumstances and say, hey, see, this is not working. Hey, see, I am not this person. Hey, you see, I don't have this. So circumstances seem, in the conscious manifestation journey, of course, always seem to play a big role. But if you currently find yourself not believing in your manifestations because of the circumstances and how the nature of your current circumstances looks like, this video will change the way that you handle consciously manifesting your goals. And after that, you will understand that the current circumstances do not matter. But let me tell you this. When you understand how your consciousness works, when you understand the principle of life, the law of assumption, the law of consciousness, how your imagination works, how shifting states actually works, what Neville Goddard tried to, teach in his books, in his lectures, then your current circumstances will no longer matter. But hear me out. You hear a lot of people in the, law of attraction, law of assumption space shout at you, circumstances don't matter. Circumstances don't matter, without explaining why they don't matter. If you just, tell someone that has a health symptom, that feels lonely, that is not with their desired partner, that is struggling with finances, that is, no matter which life area we take, where they feel a strong desire or they feel triggered by the circumstances, if you just tell them, hey, circumstances don't matter, they will not be able to accept that. It doesn't make sense. So we have to explain why they don't matter, which is what I'm going to do with you also in this video. Because only when you understand the nature of the 3D, only when you understand that it is a confirming mirror, that is literally the function of the 3D, a confirming mirror telling you who you are, what you internally gave yourself, so to speak, which states you appropriate, which states you occupy, what you imagine about yourself and the world to be true. That is what you see reflected back. Only when you understand this, then you will understand, okay, it is reverberant, it is echoing. So if right now what I see, I don't like that, well, if I know how this life works, then the circumstance will no longer matter. If I don't know how this works, it will matter to you subjectively. Okay? So, and this is what I'm about to share with you in this video. This is one of the most important video I've done, because you have to understand the concept of the inner man and the outer man. If you understand this, you will never struggle with your manifestation. You will never struggle with circumstances. But therefore, you have to understand the inner man and the outer man. What does it mean? How do you consciously apply it? And how does it help you to manifest your goals and no longer struggle against the circumstances? Let us look into that right now. So this is what Neville said. The journey is in yourself. You travel along the highways of the inner world. Without inner movement, it is impossible to bring forth anything. Right? Man's inner body is as real in the world of subjective experience as his outer physical body is real in the world of external realities. But the inner body expresses a more fundamental part of reality. If that sounds difficult, stay with me for a second. It will make sense in just a second. This existing inner body of man must be consciously exercised and directed. So what we learn here, and there will be more, so I've another part of this, but what we learn here is that, again, the journey is in ourselves. Right? We have to learn to master our internal reality. The internal reality is the causation. The external reality is not really the reality. It's just like a mirror image of what we made alive in the inner reality. Right? And this is the quote from the beginning. Right? Without inner movement, without us repositioning ourselves within, without us first picturing ourselves with the achieved goal, without first shifting our awareness into the ideal version of ourselves, it is impossible, right, to bring forth anything. We stay stuck. We stay limited. We take our cue from what right now is. And we take our cue again from what right now is. So what we do mistakenly is we take our cue from something that is designed to take its cue from us. Let that sink in. I will repeat that. We humans, take our cue from something that is designed to take its cue from us. Right? We look at the mirror, we say, I'm struggling financially. I'm lonely. I have health issues. I don't like my life. Right? Instead of us moving within in the state where things are as we want them to be, where we are who we want to be. So this is really crucial to understand, right? So without first us shifting within, moving within, assuming something new is true within, dwelling on a new truth within, we can't see new circumstances, right? So it starts within us. But this inner shift, right? So this moving ourselves within into the end state, this must be consciously exercised and directed. We can't just, drift through life and, hope for better things. No, we must do this deliberately. We must do this consciously if we have an aim in life. And there are two kinds of movement. One that is according to the inner body, and another that is according to the outer body. So, two movements, right? And let's just say an unseen movement, what we do within ourselves, no one can see that. You cannot see right now if I close my eyes. You will not know what I imagine. You will not know what I will assume is true. You will not know in which state I internally shift, right? But externally, you will see what I do. So what I do right now, externally, is what I first internally imagined, right? So this morning I imagined, okay, I will record this YouTube video for you guys. Now you see me externally doing it. But right now, you don't know where I am now already within. Maybe I'm right now already within a vacation, at a friend's house, visiting my parents, being here, being there, doing this, driving around my car. You don't know that, right? But then externally, you will also see my external body doing that, where I first positioned my inner body. So the movement which is according to the inner body is causal, and that is the main thing to understand. But the outer movement is under compulsion. That is also where this whole topic of free will comes in, where externally in the 3D world, you don't have free will. Your free will exists in placing your awareness consciously on where you want to go, who you want to be, what you want to have as true for yourself. But then externally, everything that happens automatically, happens under compulsion. And inner movement is the force by which all events are brought to pass. Outer movement is subject to the compulsion applied to it by the movement of the inner body. So we will learn later in this video, you really have to stay to understand the point that I made in the beginning, why the current circumstances don't matter if you dislike them. Because if you understand that the outer body is always slower, that the external you is always delayed, it's always slower, then it can be that, in the outer world, okay, I'm still sitting here right now in front of my screen recording this video for you. But if I would, for a couple of minutes now, dwell on later being out with friends, being at the restaurant, then my circumstances are still that I'm here with you recording this video. Whereas within, my inner man already dwelled in the wish fulfilled. So what does it matter right now if I know that imagining creates reality, if I know that bringing my awareness to the end state and dwelling there and accepting it as true and knowing that it happened, that it is real, that it is done, and I open my eyes, I'm still stuck with the current circumstances. But my outer body will then move. I might call the friends, they might call me, I might arrange it, I might meet them, whatever. But I will end up where I first placed myself within to be. And that is a phrase that I came up with. You can note that down, you could save that somewhere. But where you position yourself internally is where eventually you will also be on the outside. And I found this to be true over and over and over again, which is just another word for interpreting Neville's statement that imagining creates reality. Right? Imagining, doing something in the unseen, basically creates and is responsible for what we then also experience in our lives on the outside. Okay, let's go into the explanation to break this down. I really, really, really wanted to understand this because literally when I understood this, I stopped fearing circumstances. I stopped battling against them, running away from them, trying to ignore them, trying to fight them, being overwhelmed by them. It was more like an acknowledging, okay, that is how it is right now. But it doesn't have to stay like that. If I dislike it, I move within, and eventually that will also change on the outside. So, You have to understand the inner man and the outer man. That's my first statement. You have to understand that you basically are playing here on two levels. You're actually only playing on one level, but you forgot. You think, oh, I'm this little human walking around in this world, that's it. Now, Neville's lecture, Awaken Imagination, now you realize, oh, there's more. Oh, I can also imagine something to be true. Oh, I can also imagine that I'm here, that I've achieved that I'm this, that this is now mine, that that this is done for me. And then that is also what the outer you will experience. There's the outer you in the sense world, and there is the inner man, which no one can see basically, which is where you dwell within. Very important to understand, it's the inner man that leads. Right? The outer man only follows. The outer man is not the cause. The outer man, like we learned earlier in the quote from Neville, follows under compulsion. Right? It follows. It's like a little boy that chases a little girl, or like a little girl that chases a little boy. Right? Runs after them. So does your outer you run after your inner you. Right? Example. Very, very simple, and you cannot prove this wrong. That's the cool part about that. You cannot prove this wrong. You can try to prove it wrong, and in the attempt to prove it wrong, you will prove that it is correct. Okay? That's why Neville gave the ladder exercise. I can share that as well with you, right? Which is simply about you imagining yourself climbing a ladder. This is the action that the inner man does, right? That would mean internally the inner man has the experience of climbing a ladder. And then what happens is that the outer man, in a very mysterious bridge of incidents, weird way, will also encounter somewhere like a ladder and climb it and be under compulsion to climb that ladder. Maybe to hand someone something up on a roof or whatever it might be. Right? But also, so you can prove it like that. But another easy example, right? Let's just say you make the decision to go for a walk. Right? So I'm sitting here right now recording this video, and it could be that I right now say that, after this video is done, I will go for a walk, right? And I picture myself already walking in the forest. I picture myself already, walking somewhere, buying something, being there. That is my inner man being placed there, right? That is your inner man basically being placed in that unseen reality, in that state where you're outside walking, right? And no one can see that internal movement. The outer world still sees you where you're at right now. And then the outer man starts to move as a result of the previous internal movement. Right? That's always how it works. Try to go somewhere, try to do something without first internally having been there. But it just happens so unconsciously, so unwittingly that you're not aware of that. I'm here to help you become aware that there is first an inner decision, first an inner shift, first an inner movement. Right? Very subtle. We don't notice it. For some things it is so subtle, we grabbing our glass of tea, but it was still first happening within me. But again, if that's too subtle for you, if even the example with, the decision to go for a walk, and you don't understand that, wait, no, I just do this all externally. If this doesn't make sense, then go in an experiment. Right? If you haven't manifested something consciously, deliberately yet, then pick something, pick an item, pick something that, you don't encounter in your day-to-day life naturally, and imagine that you have it. I tell you what is happening is that this is the inner man, you internally experiencing that you have it, that you do the action, that you hear the congratulation, that you climb the ladder, that you hold the $50 bill in your hand, whatever it might be. And then the outer man will encounter that. Isn't that interesting? So learning, the outer man still experiences the old circumstances, although the inner man is placed in the wish-fulfilled state. And that brings me exactly back to what I promised you in the beginning, that if you understand this, you will never be worried about, okay, if right now things are still stuck, if right now things are still old, right? If right now things are not moving, what does it matter? If you understand this, if you understand that the inner man comes first, the outer man always, still for a while, sees the old news, still sees the old circumstances, right? You have to remember this story that Neville gave in one of his lectures with the movie. Right, you go to a movie, you go to a cinema, you come too late, you just see the end, you just see the main character in its victory, right? Having the relationship, having the finances, having the health, having the lifestyle, having the friendships, feeling more confident, feeling sought after, whatever is relevant and whatever you subjectively desire in your life right now, that's just a representation of your desires, right? But you come in the movie, come to the cinema, you just see the final minute, you just see, wow, the main character got everything, but then you say, yeah, but I came to watch the full movie, and then the next timing, when the next movie starts from the beginning, you sit down, you watch the whole movie, you see all the ups and downs, right? You see the character maybe losing its stuff, but that will all seem like old news for you. That will all seem like it's not really mattering to you because you subjectively know what you experienced. Because you subjectively already know the end. So you just see all the crazy unfoldment, but you sit there confidently knowing, I know how this will play out. Kind of the same for manifesting. Right? What does it matter if right now you don't have the car? You see your driving lot is still empty. You walk past your driving lot every single morning, you see, okay, car is not there. Right? If you think circumstances are final, you are lost yourself in the circumstances. You have not awakened your awareness. Of course, this will seem like, yeah, okay, I cannot manifest this car. It's not there yet. There's no evidence. How can I believe that I can just manifest the car? You place the inner man in the wish fulfilled. You place the inner man into the experience of already, having the car. That's what the inner man now is. You felt the wish fulfilled, you felt the relief, you felt the car keys in your imagination. You come back to your sense world, and the outer man still is stuck in the old circumstances. It's not that the car drops from the air, boom, and it's there 1 second later. It's not that when you imagine the partner that you open your eyes and they spawn in your bed. That would be even weird. Right? And there is a purpose to why there is a delay. That's the learning. That's the human experience, because we go through this bridge so that we learn on its way. That there's not a problem with that. Right? Actually, again, remember, the wish fulfilled is always instantly. If I close my eyes, if I want that car, I can instantly experience something that implies I have it and be in that state. If I want that partner, I can instantly imagine something that implies I'm in the wish fulfilled, feel the relief, and be in the state of now having or being happily partnered. That is all instantly. But the manifestation is not instantly. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is really quick. Sometimes, there are stories, and I also experienced that some things happen after a minute. Some things happen after a day. But who cares when it happens? If you understand that the wish fulfilled happens in you, and then the manifestation is simply a mirror, a consequence, a reflection, a confirmation of what you already experienced within, you will never even try to force to get something instantly, because you know that if you want something, if you want that experience of having your partner, if you want the experience of being financially abundant, if you want the experience of now being healthy, you go internally within and give it to yourself by deliberately placing your inner man in the wish fulfilled, by deliberately, consciously imagining a scene, doing inner movement, I remember when, whatever helps you to place yourself in the here and now, in the state of being who you want to be, having what you want to have, then that's now available within. You don't have to wait for the manifestation to feel the wish fulfilled, because the manifestation is simply the confirmation and the consequence of that internal wish fulfilled, of that internal state you shifted into. Right? So therefore, the learning is that the outer man, the outer circumstances, they can still for a while be the old. But what would it matter to you if you understand that this is the nature of how things are, that the inner movement always comes first? So you could now see the red numbers on your bank account. Imagine yourself into a more financially abundant version of yourself. What would imply that? What would you do? How would you purchase things? What would a friend say to you? What would a family member say to you? These were all things I imagined. A scene where my parents, told me how proud they are about me. And that implied to me this certain financial abundant state. But without, I was still getting money from the German government. Right? Without, I was still getting this. But over time, this became less triggering. This became less overwhelming. I disidentified with it more and more and more. The more I identified myself with the new unseen state, the more I identified myself with the new internal state that I started to live in. But then the more I started to understand that my inner man was already placed in the state of financial abundance. So what would it matter if my outer man is still experiencing it? He's slower. He's delayed. Like Neville said, time beats slow in the 3D world. So let's continue on this. Your only duty when you take it to consciously manifesting a goal, right, to changing your life circumstances, to shifting into a higher version of yourself, is to place, is to place the inner man in the state of the wish fulfilled. Basically, your only duty is to make a new decision. Right? A decision is a shift, which can be supported by an imaginal act, which can be supported by, you experiencing something again and again and again, because then it will become believable. Right? Many people who say, I can't believe my manifestation, I don't think it's possible. It's you can't believe right now. Your outer man has no reason to believe it. Your outer man is, so to speak, tied to your current state, the state that you're in right now. It's like your own created prison walls, invisible prison walls. So don't try to convince the outer man. The outer man is limited. The rational mind is limited. Your duty is to place the inner man constantly, because a repeated mental image, a persistence in a new mental image will cause that persistent, unseen assumption to harden into fact. Right? I have also videos on my channel. Persistent assumption will harden into fact when you persist in that mental, aka imaginative, unseen image or state. Right? So your only job is to make this new inner decision. Your job is not to, on the outside, battle against the circumstances, try to make something happen. You don't make things happen in the 3D world. You make things consciously happen by internally, shifting into that level of awareness where they already happened, where they already are done, and then the outer you will act under compulsion. You will be moved. Let that sink in. You will be moved. Things that will happen externally will happen automatically, because your external self will, again, like we learned, automatically move along a bridge based on where you stand already within. You will act under compulsion. So what we also know is that the outer man is still where he previously was. Right? So I imagine myself right now, being in a restaurant with my best friend eating sushi. I come back from this, sitting here. My circumstances are the exact same. It's like no movement, still stuck, still what I don't want, which is sitting here. Although I maybe want to be in the restaurant, but I actually want to sit here and explain you this concept, guys. But you get the point, right? It's okay if right now your outer self still experiences the old circumstances. It's only limiting. You only feel circumstances are mattering when you have not awakened that second inner being, so to speak, of yourself. When you're fully dialed in, when you fully lost yourself in your current circumstances, and you feel, oh yeah, okay, that is what it is. I'm sitting here. I wish I could go out. I wish I could go to eating sushi with my best friend, but no, I'm here. That is how things are right now. Right? But that's not the case. The outer man will go through a bridge of incidents to be where the inner man already is. It's not your job to try and change the circumstances. The only two things you need for new circumstances, and that's the key, right, is clarity and a conscious shift into the desired state. Let me repeat that. The only two things you need for new circumstances, to change something in your life, to manifest something that is right now not externally present in the flesh, right? Something that you can only desire, which again already means it is possible. It's in your scope. It's in your close awareness. It's already available for you. Otherwise, you could not have the desire for it. Desiring a state means that this state is in existence. How could you otherwise desire for it? So the only two things you need to make this unseen state visible and experience it in the flesh as well, in the world of sense, in the world of the outer man, is you need clarity. So you need an aim, you need a desire, you need to know, okay, what it is that I want, who it is that I want to be, what do I want to express, right? Which qualities, which manifestation. And if you have that, then you need a conscious shift into that desired state. Then you need to imagine something that implies to you that it is done. Then you need to fill your awareness with the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Better said, with the experience of the wish fulfilled, right? So that you don't lose yourself in certain emotions and think you have to capture a certain emotion of feeling euphoric. No, but then you have to internally, perceive the world from the point of view that it already happened. Which mood would you be like? How would you feel like? What would it be like if it did already happen? Right? If that is now true for you in your world, how would you now see the world? If you achieved that financial success, what would a friend say to you? And then you close your eyes and then you hear him say that. Like Neville said, listen until you hear. You listen imaginatively until you actually feel like you heard it. Until the experience feels so real to you that it is obvious to you that he said it, that it is obvious to you that this is real and this is who you are. Right? And then this internal conviction will grow. This belief will come from you having placed the inner man again and again and again in the wish fulfilled. Right? So it's okay if right now you don't believe, but by shifting, by making this conscious shift into your desired state repeatedly, one time is usually not enough. Sometimes it is, and then the manifestation can happen like this. Sometimes it requires a coming back to it. Then this persistent assumption will harden into fact. If you need any help with getting clarity and also with shifting into the desired state, maintaining it, avoiding all the pitfalls that I see, many people do in the manifestation journey, and this always amazes me that people, they learn about this, they manifest a goal, and then they spend some time in life kind of losing themselves in the life experience and in the mind and just in the game of life, which happens. And then after 6 months, they come back to me and they say, Niclas, now this is happening and now I feel stuck here and now I don't know what to do. And then it's coming back to the same basic principle. It's not that the law changed. It's not that manifestation changed. It's evergreen, right? But you have to make this, you have to ingrain this in yourself so that, you always understand this, right? I can give you that accountability if you want to program a system, a community, so that you are just being kept on track. Basically, you can check out the two links in the video description. One is my free masterclass. The second is my program, my community, for a very affordable monthly price. You can check that out. Yeah, guys, that is it for this video. If you like it, definitely leave me a like, not only for the YouTube channel, but remember, my goal is so that more people understand those important messages, right? That your friends, your family, the world, people in the manifestation space, that they start to wake up to their power, but also that they stop limiting themselves so much. They stop feeling so stuck and so small and such, as a victim to life. But you have to understand, life happens through you, not to you. It's not a thing that just, is a random event generator. There is, of course, a certain mystery to life. We can only explain and understand so much, but what I can definitely tell you is that it happens through you. And your subjective own world will change. You will get new circumstances when you internally first give yourself the experiences of being who you want to be, of having what you want to have. And then the mirror of life will confirm that, oh, you were in the wish fulfilled of having the car? You got the car. Oh, you were in the wish fulfilled of having your dream house, your apartment? Here you go. You were internally in the wish fulfilled of having the partner? Here you go. You were internally in the wish fulfilled of having the financial abundance, having, a lot of money entering your life, yearly, monthly, all the time, because that's who you are. Here you are, right? Because your inner man was placed there, and then your outer man will be there too. Okay, very important, inner man and outer man. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Let me know how you liked that video, and I speak to you in the next one. Bye, guys.